So good morning, students. We have already started the explanation of the chapter, that is chapter 6, and our topic of the chapter is the early states. As we came to know the various topics, and we have already discussed the many topics related to this chapter, the introduction part, the Mahajanapadas, the sources of Mahajanapadas, and how the sources of came, also the political life we studied, okay, the monarchies and the republics and the administration we saw. Now we are going to study about the Magadh. Okay, now you see Magadh was the most powerful Mahajanapadas in the 6th century that subdued most of the 16 Mahajanapadas and rose to prominence. Many factors contributed to Magadh becoming a dominant power among the 16 Mahajanapadas. What is told is that during that time, okay, as I told that small means the Raja, na, that small area king, okay, small area king were ruled by the big king, okay, means a great ruler will be there, means the head ruler, okay. So there were now in the time of the 6th century 16 Mahajanapadas, 16 small places, okay, that became very popular during that time, okay. Many factors contributed during the time of the Magadh becoming a dominant power, means the Magadh Samrat. The Magadh Samrat means the Magadh king, okay, used to rule these 16 places. He was the Maharaja, okay, of these 16 places. And these 16 places were having one more Rajas, okay, which was working under the Magadh Samrat. So next we will go to the Magadh was located at the confluence of the river Ganga. Okay, Magadh was located at the confluence of river Ganga and Son. This made the possible to exercise control over the Ganga plains and the river. So what is told here, the Magadh, okay, Magadh was where the Magadh was located. The Magadh was located near the means river Ganga, and the river Ganga actually, if you see the this Krishna, okay, this Bhagavad Gita and Ramayana, if you see, then you will get, okay, there was this Ganga was having a son whose name was Bhisma Pitama, okay, whose name was Bhisma Pitama. So Magadh was located where it was located, the Magadh, okay, the place name is Magadh, okay, was located near the river and the Ganga and his son. This made Magadh possible to exercise control over the Ganga plains, the river and the river trade. As you see, the Magadh is located near the river Ganga, okay. The Magadh is located near the river Ganga. So the Magadh was the king of the Magadh was controlling, okay, and ruling the river also. Anybody cannot enter, nobody can enter, okay, nobody can enter in the river through the river route in the Magadh without king permission, means the king was having full control, okay. This made the possible to exercise and control over the Ganga plains, the river and the riverine trade. Besides a perfect geographical location, Magadh and an abundance of the natural resources. If you say the plain land, as you know, okay, in what type of land people love to stay? Does people love to stay in the mountains? No, they love to stay in the plain land. Where we are staying, we are staying in the plain land. Yes, as we love to stay in the plain land, most of the population will be set in the plain lands only. So during that time, the Magadh was having many plain lands. For this reason, people got settled in the plain lands. Okay, and also beside perfect geographical location was there, Magadh has then a plenty amount of the natural resources. You can say abundance means plenty, so many. Okay, so many amount of natural resources. The Ganga plains were fertile, which yielded a surplus crop. The forest reason provided timber and elephants that were used in the army. Now, you see, the the forest area, okay, was having timber and was having elephants that used in the army. Now, why it is told about the animals like elephant? Now, anybody will go to steal timber or wood, okay? This elephant was protecting this one. Now you see, what will happen if the animals are not there in the jungle? The question is this, okay? If more amount of animals are there, then the forests are protected. Yes, you see, animals are guarding the forest, okay? In return, the forest is giving the shed, okay, the shed to the animals. The Magadhan capital, Rajgriha, was also surrounded by 5 hills and was provided a natural defense system along the thick stone walls that made it difficult to the enemy to attack Magad. To increase its territory, Magad also conquered neighboring kingdoms. Besides increasing Magadha territory, this conquest increased the revenue of the states as many territories were flourishing centers of the trade and commerce. What is told here is that Magad was very much famous during that time. Okay, if you say about the trade, okay, and the walls of the Magad was very high. Why? Because others cannot attack it very means easily. Okay, and now we are going to study about Bimbasara and Ajata Satru. Okay, that is Ajata Shatru, Bimbasara and Ajata Satru we are going to study. So let's get started about the Bimbasara. Bimbasara belonged to the Hiranakya dynasty and ruled Magad from 544 BCE, that is before Common Era, to 495 BCE, before Common Era. As I have already told you in the class also, that you see these are backdated. Yes, these are backdated. The dates of the history is going backward. If you have noticed that 544 BCE, then it came 495 BCE, because history dates are always backdated. Okay, he established his capital at Rajgriha. Okay, he was firm in administrative. Now, next, he was firm in administrative. Okay, students, I would like to say that if students, anybody is leaving, join first, don't do delay, because you see in the middle of the explanation I need to stop. Recording is also going on, so if you come in the class, okay, don't leave the class in the between, because it comes disturbance also. Each and every one time I cannot flip my mind to allow in the means class. Okay, so do come in the class on time, don't leave the class. If network issue is there, I can understand. For that reason I can give you excuse, but rest others, don't leave the class. Okay, so let's start. He established his capital at the Rajgriha. He was firm in administration matters and he did not tolerate inefficiency and corruption. He expanded his kingdom through the conquest and the matrimonial alliances. Bimbasara was also known to be the devout Buddhist. Now, what is told there, that the how does what kind of rule did the Bimbasara did? Okay, Bimbasara used to marry the neighboring princess. Okay, the princess the Bimbasara used to marry. Why? Because when the Bimbasara will marry the princess, he will get the means all the dynasty also. Understood? He used to marry the other queen. He used to fight with other king and take away the powers. Okay, so he used to rule in this way. Okay, then he expanded his kingdom through the conquest with the fight. Conquest means fight. How did he grew his kingdom? How the Bimbasara became very great king? With the help of fight, okay, and matrimonial alliances by marrying other queens. Okay, Bimbasara was also known to be the devout Buddhist. He was a devotee of the Buddhist. Okay, Bimbasara was succeeded by his son. Okay, Bimbasara was succeeded by his son Ajatasattu, who ruled Magad after his father's death till 462 BCE. Now you see, Bimbasara is death. Now who became the king? Bimbasara's son. Okay, that is Ajatasattu. Okay, now Ajatasattu has ruled till 462 BCE. Okay, though his military expedition, he further strengthened the Magadha position among the 16 Mahajanapadas. Now, after taking the power, okay, 16th, you can say Mahajanapadas was there at early, I told, right? He took the power and later on he tried to control all these places. Okay, Ajatasattu through his conquest not only became the master of the northern and eastern India, he consolidated the Magadhan Empire like his father. Ajatasattu was also known a great administrator and was well known for his military innovations. Bimbasara and Ajatasattu also built cities, towns, roads, and the bridges. Now, you see, Bimbasara, who was there, okay, and Ajatasattu, who was there, has used his power in order to bring the cities, towns, villages. Okay, they given their 100%. They are very good king of that time. Magadha has a rare combination of all the factors necessary for his rise. Others kingdom like Koshala and Kashi were powerful but lacked the combination of the natural resources and able ruler to become the superpower. Now you see, if you see now why did not the other king thought to take away the power of the Bimbasara and Ajatasattu. In the last line it is told, but that is other king. Okay, the other kings was not that much powerful enough to fight with the Bimbasara and Ajatasattu. Okay, so for this reason they did not take the power. Next we are going to study about the economy. Okay, so economy, if we talk, that agriculture remained the main occupation during the 6th century. The main occupation, what was the main occupation of during that time? Is that agriculture. Okay, landowners got the land cultivated by Shudras or the Dasas slaves. Okay, the Dasas may have been prisoners of war or the people who probably owed money to the landowner. The wooden plowshare was replaced by the iron plowshare. It became easier to cultivate clay soil with an iron plowshare. When the cultivation was simplified, more grains could be produced. What is there is that, you see, now during that time iron was discovered. Okay, iron was discovered. Then when the iron was discovered, what happened? People were not using the wood. Okay, they were not using the wood. Now they started using what? Iron. Now when they are using iron, with the help of iron, they can do what? More plowing becomes more easy. Okay, and very good also, right? It's become very easy and very good. So people started doing plowing. Now next, the farmers paid taxes to the states. The king had appointment in an official to collect the taxes. The tax was calculated to be the 1/6 of the produce. This was called the bhaga. It was paid in the grains as well as money. Now you see, the kings was producing the taxes, and this was means in the, you can say, with the help of the somebody was paying the money. Okay, as you have seen in video. Okay, one video I will share, and you can see there the king were paying with the help of, suppose somebody is paying money to the someone. If that person does not have money, what he will pay? He can say to his king that I will become labor in your house for the lifetime. Okay, so he is giving his life to the king. Okay, that is servant, slavery. Okay, then next is what? Punchmark coins. Okay, were introduced during this time, which were used to pay the taxes. Different figures were engraved on these coins, and therefore the historians refer to them as a punched mark coins. Okay, silver and copper were used to manufacture punched mark coins. The king also appointed an official to survey the land and measure the grain that was to be paid in taxes. What happened? The king, okay, how the king was ruling, how the king was knowing the value of the land. There was a person during that time, okay, who was measuring the land and take out in the value, that how much you have to pay. Okay, how much land tax you have to pay. If you have this much land, then how much tax land you have to pay. So, okay, so now we will go about in the next paragraph, that is towns and the cities came up during the period. Many towns and the cities became the centers that specialized in the different crafts, and the centers that is specialized in different crafts and the occupations such as weaving, pottery, and chariot making. Many towns and the cities were denoted as urban center. Literary texts like the Jatakas mention these flourishing urban centers, which included Rajgriha, Vaishali, and Champa. What is told here is that many towns and the cities came during that time. Okay, many towns and the cities. Like for example, the Jatakas is there. Okay, which is mentioned. It is a very flourishing, very good, means a place. Okay, included the Rajgriha, Vaishali, then Champa is there. Okay, which is very good during that time. Many new. These are the new towns. Okay, these are the new towns that were formed during that time. Now we will study about the traders. Okay, traders from the guilds or the Shrinis during this period. Guilds were an organizations of the traders. Students, you do underline this one. What are guilds? Okay, what are guilds? Okay, you see, guilds were an organization of the traders and merchants who had an authority and the power to decide rules and regulations. These were set of means persons, you can say. These are the set of person. If suppose somebody has done some wrong, now who will take decision? This guilds person will take the decision. Okay, this was a type of a committee. Okay, this was a type of a committee. Now we will discuss about the education. Okay, now we will discuss about the education, that what kind of education they had. Okay, the towns and the centers that developed, okay, during the 6th century also became important centers of learning and education. Although that the Gurukul system of the education was still prevalent, universities like Taxila and Nalanda came up. Subjects like medicine, philosophy, grammar, then astronomy and logic were taught there. So many means education system was also now became different. Okay, now the education system during the 6th centuries, okay, what it was giving more importance about the learning. Okay, now you see why you are here. If I say you are here to learn, right? Yes or no? You are here to learn. During that time also, education system was giving most important to learn something new. Okay, although the Gurukul system of education was still prevalent, universities of Taxila and Nalanda came up. Now you see there is a new words you are getting, right? Taxila and Nalanda. The Nalanda University is very famous university in the India. Okay, is still not present here. It was opened during the time of the, you can say, 6th or 7th century nearly it is. It is the very oldest university of the world. Okay, the oldest university of the world, which is in India. But what happened? A king once called a person of the, means the teacher of the Nalanda University, because the teacher was knowing how to treat. Okay, then the teacher told that if you need treatment, you need to come here. Okay, the king went and took the treatment. After that, the king ordered that you have to stay in our mahal, because in the future if I fall ill, then who will treat me? That the teacher told that my knowledge is to transfer. I am available in the institution all the time. Okay, so you can get me all the time in the institution. I will not be able to go. The king became very angry. Okay, what the king has done at last? Burned the Nalanda University. The library of the Nalanda University was burning till 6 months. So how many thousands and the crores of the crore book was there, you think? In Nalanda University, okay, there are different topics which was taught, like for example about the medicine, about the Ayurvedic medicine especially, about the literature, how to speak English, and this all. Even the Chinese people, okay, also came, the foreigners also came in India to study in the Nalanda University during that time. If Nalanda University would be present in India, today India would be more, means famous. Okay, India is famous, but it will be more famous. Okay, so now we will go about in that society. Okay, the society during that the Mahajanapadas continued, okay, with the caste system that was established during the Vedic period. Now the caste system had become more rigid than it was during the Vedic period. The Varna system became hereditary, and the different Varnas performed the function according to the Varna they were born in. Now you see, if you say about the caste system, The in the caste system of the that time and present time is totally different. That time, like caste system was like the people, those who are doing what kind of work. First, we'll ask this, right? If a person is cleaning, means households, cleaning toilets, okay, cleaning toilets of other, this kind of works they are doing, they are Shudras, okay, they are Shudras, which you mean in English it is told untouchables. What is told? It is untouchables, okay. They were not having much respect in the society, but presently you see they also can, means they are having much respect in the society, okay, they are much respected in the society. It does not mean they also can grow, right? And so the Indian constitution also has given the equal right to each and everyone. So the Brahmanas were expected to teach, okay, who was the teacher during that time? The Brahmanas, the Brahmin caste were the teacher, okay, who used to teach the Vedas and perform the religious rituals and the sacrifices, okay. They used to give sacrifice. The Satriyas were there. The Satriyas were the fighters. They were the fighters or the warriors who fought for the wars and to protect the people. The Vaishyas were the trading and the agriculture caste groups. They were the business group, okay. And only the first three Varnas, Brahmanas, Kshatriyas and Vaishyas were permitted to study at the Vedas. These three caste people only are allowed to study Vedas. Then the last part, the Sudras were the fourth and the last were considered untouchables, as I have already told you, and were forced to leave the outside the city and perform all the manual jobs, that is small works, okay. They are never allowed to grow. Now we'll discuss about the religion, okay. The 6th century also saw the origin of the two new religion movements, but Buddhism and the Jainism. This new religions movement stemmed from the resentment that came people started feeling towards the elaborate and expensive rituals that have been prevalent since the Vedic period. People now desired simple religious practices that could be easily followed by all. Another problem was use of the Sanskrit for the religious purposes. Common people were unstable or unable to understand the Sanskrit. The people moved towards the Buddhism and Jainism, which preached in the language of the masses, that is Prakrit. Buddhism and Jainism did not adhere to caste system, and the lower classes saw that this was an opportunity to avoid the oppressive caste system. The founders of the Buddhism and the Jainism became popular among that time, the people, because they were offered a simple life, a caste, no caste distinctions and non-violence. So what is told here, during the time of the 6th century, their new culture came, new religious came about that Buddhism and Jainism. Okay, now you may think about the Buddhism and Jainism. How Buddhism came and the Jainism came is that Gautam Buddha has formed a religion named Buddhism. Okay, when Gautam Buddha, okay, died, when he was no more, you listen to this story, that when he was died and he was no more, what happened? His followers told that they will make another religion, that is Jainism. Okay, so the some of the followers who came out of the Buddhism and followed another religion, that is Jainism. Okay, this is a religious movement stemmed into the resentment, and now people in the Buddhism and Jainism, there is a no kind of like lower caste, upper caste, okay, all are same. So people thought of joining that religion only. Why people were attracted to that religion? Because there was a no religion in the what called Buddhism and Jainism, all were equal, okay, all were equal. That's what about today's explanation. Students, I hope that you have understood the explanation till I have explained. So we'll meet in the next class. I'll be giving out the question answers and filling the blanks. Till then, that take care. Thank you. Bye bye.